We're basic. Oh, hi guys on Facebook. We're going live on YouTube as well. We're going to be covering the latest news on atheism, religion, secularism. I see on YouTube live chat, I see Subham, I see Mike. Guys, can you let us know how the audio is? Can you let us know if you hear us? Yes, no, audio is good. Ali, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Who else I see? I see another godless atheist. People on Facebook, leave a
Beach is
comment.
here too.
Beach. Oh, hi, Beach. Christy, I hope she's coming here soon. GV, Will, some other guy that I can't pronounce her name. Okay, Christian on Facebook is saying audio is great. Thank you, Christian from Facebook. Ali, how are you?
Great. I am so excited about our news tonight. We have a lot of very interesting stories to cover, but I did want to start off by giving an update on the Make America Straight Again conference last week.
Mm-hmm.
They concluded it with no violence, which is fantastic. That's what we wanted. It's not what they wanted. And then upon returning, back to their areas, they were also kicked out of using a restaurant called the Cracker Barrel. For those of you who don't know, it's like a country cooking kind of restaurant, very Christian, very religious, and they were asked not to hold their meetings there anymore. So,
okay, great. Private business gets to do what they want.
Sure.
Yeah, but okay. Oh, is Christy? No. Anyway, so people on YouTube are also confirming that the audio is good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And great. I'm really happy that. So we had, did a lot of people show up to do the counter protests? By the way, for people that don't know what we're talking about, there were a bunch of Christians in Florida that wanted to go protest and hopefully try to. They were hopeful. I shouldn't say hopefully. They were hopeful to kill a bunch of gay people by provoking them in a way that they attack, and in defense they could shoot them and be able to kill them legally in that way. But they were unsuccessful. The counter protester didn't give them any excuses, so that was good, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, were there a lot of protesters? I don't know. I don't know exactly how many there were. The group, the anti-NIFB people that I was telling you, consisted of a whole bunch of YouTubers that got together and decided they were actually going to do something.
Right.
People like Holy Kool-Aid, I believe, actually went to protest.
Yay, Holy Kool-Aid.
Yeah. So, from what I understand, if I'm wrong, someone please correct me. But and then a lot of people, while they were doing that conference, decided that was the time to start reporting their YouTube videos that had blatant call to action against gays,
violent,
and start to get that stuff removed.
By the way, this was the YouTubers was genetically modified skeptic, was Shannon Q,
Casey Gleason, godless engineer,
atheist, Mr. Atheist, also the one that you mentioned, Holy Kool-Aid, and so these people actually did underground activism. These YouTubers, atheist YouTubers. So don't next time somebody says oh, these YouTubers, they just make videos and they just talk about stuff and they don't do anything, and all this new millennial people, they just instead of actually doing activism on the ground, they just talk about it online. That's not true. Not only they went and did things on the ground themselves, they mobilized a whole bunch of other people to go do as well. So use this as an example to see that online activism could lead to underground activism as well.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, and Christy's here. Hi, Christy.
Oh, hi, Christy. So glad. Okay, good. By the way, thank you to Beseech and Christy for being mods on this channel. It's so great to have them. But this week's news is less depressing than usual, right? It's more. Some of it is funny. I'm hoping. I just had you do the research. I just react to your research and stuff like that. So
yeah,
but it seemed like the list was pretty, funny, and not that some of it was good news. So we don't get those weeks. When it comes to religion and politics and stuff, we usually more than half of it is depressing. But this week is better, right?
This week's better.
Yeah.
We'll say it's better. We still have some sad stories, but it is better for sure.
Okay. What's the first one?
First one is out of California. The Church of Scientology has been sued for kidnapping, human trafficking, and stalking. Church of Scientology and its leader, David Miscavige, has been sued for false imprisonment, kidnapping, stalking, human trafficking, and other shocking allegations in a bombshell lawsuit obtained by RadarOnline.com. In court papers obtained by Superior Court of California, the plaintiff, who is listed as unnamed Jane Doe, filed the lawsuit on June 18, 2019. She claims that members are subject to physical, verbal, and psychological, emotional, and or sexual abuse and or assault. The plaintiff is seeking a jury trial and damages. So I want to give you guys a background kind of on Scientology if you're not familiar, and their tactics and what they do. They are known globally for and from Australia to America for harassment tactics. If somebody leaves the church, if somebody speaks out about the church, they will go and they'll harass you. If anyone's seen the show with Leah Remini, you'll know what I'm talking about. She's an ex-Scientologist who busts Scientologists on this kind of behavior and helps give victims of Scientology a chance to speak. David is the leader of the Church of Scientology.
David Miscavige, right?
Yes. And he had his own father. He had his own father thrown into the hole. The hole is a prison.
And his wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that. Okay. It's a prison, if you will, where you're re-brainwashed, basically, to see if you're even worthy of being salvaged. So you endure unimaginable torture. And a lot of people say the whole can't be proved, blah, blah, blah. There have been hundreds of stories of victims from Scientology who know about the whole, who have faced the whole. So, it's a terrible place. Well, in 2005, David's wife, Shelley, went missing. And no one knew what happened to her. No one knows where she is. People have tried over and over and over again to get police to do a wellness check on her. And it seems like every single time they just come back and say, she is fine. Kind of robotic. Same responses over and over. Kind of like maybe the church might have something on. It's kind of conspiracy theory-ish, but you have to understand nobody has seen her face. Nobody has seen her. No one's able to talk to her. Okay? So it's very scary. Well, this woman, this Jane Doe, kind of outs herself a little bit because who she was the personal assistant to Shelley. Okay? So they were both thrown into the hole together. And this woman says that she saw Shelley being removed from the hole, kicking and screaming by people, thrown into a car, and she was never seen again.
How has the Church of Scientology gotten away with so much
money and power?
Like they are actually kidnapping people on U.S. soil and other first world countries, and they have their own secret prisons, and this under the U.S. government they're actively doing these things, and this is not conspiracy, guys. Like. This is well documented. Like, these are not stuff that they do and people are like, oh no, you're exaggerating. No, everybody knows that they're doing this. And I don't understand how is it that, like, they're not shut down. How is it? Everything we say about the Church of Scientology, like, if you actually don't do any research, it sounds like a conspiracy, like a nut job conspiracy theory. Because these are the people that they wanted to become an official religion, even though they advertise as not a religion, but they want to be, for legal purposes, they want to be a religion so that they don't have to pay taxes and stuff. And they harassed the IRS. They went and digged.
They threatened the IRS.
They threatened the IRS, and the IRS gave in. They won. Like imagine, like, you don't fuck with the IRS, okay? You don't fuck with the IRS, but these people went ahead and fucked with the IRS, and they came out the other end of it winning. Like, how? I mean, it's kind of badass, but it's so. I mean, to be able.
Here's more. Here's more about what's going on. Okay, right. And this is more that's actually listed in the lawsuit. So this is important because this isn't just what other members are saying. This woman is specifically saying this is what I've endured. This is what others have endured. And the church needs to pay for this. Okay, guys? Children have been forced to apologize to their abuser for the children's role in their sexual abuse. In the religion of Scientology, a child is not really a child. We're reincarnated. Okay, so parents and other adults treat children as if they are adults. So if a child is sexually abused, It's the adult part of them that's coming out, and they need to apologize for the role they played in their own sexual abuse. Okay, the conditions that some members have been forced to live in, such as cleaning from 8 a.m. in the morning until midnight, to sleep, to not get to eat but once a day, and even like table scraps from higher level officers. They've endured this because they've signed a billion-year contract to be in the
Billion-year contract? What the is that even legally feasible to do that?
I mean, how? Because Scientology says that it is because they everyone's reincarnated. So your reincarnated self has to find your way back to the church, and you have to continue serving. They do something called bull baiting, where members, including children, are trained not to react to harassment, verbal assault, threats, or sexually explicit and inappropriate comments. And what this means is they line up children. Okay, they get in their face and say things like, "I'm going to fuck you. I'm going to fuck your mother." I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that on YouTube, but they say these things to children, and the children have to sit there and not react to it. It's bull baiting. It's a thing that they do to make children stronger. And the amounts of just abuse that people suffer here, and people are coming out, and people are saying this, and they're being bullied. They're being bullied. They have
bullied is a mild, if you want to leave their church, they will come after you.
People for wanting to speak out against this, ruining people.
Yeah. They go, and they're doing it all in a legal way. They have lawyers, and they will go find every skeleton that you have in your closet, and they will use it against you. And this is what they did against IRS, because instead of just going after the IRS as a whole, they went after every individuals in the IRS. Like, they found their secrets. I don't know how, but they and this is how even the police doesn't, like, I don't know how, but there are people missing, and people are reporting it, and the police is like not doing anything. How are they getting away with it? Again, guys, if you think this is a conspiracy theory, just go look at. You talked to this guy as well, the father. So the head of the Church of Scientology, his name is David, right? David Miscavige, right? His father is Ron Miscavige, right? And I interviewed Ron Miscavige on the Secular Jihadist show. Like, you guys could just look that up, Ron Miscavige, Secular Jihadist. And you talked to you were at an event with him, right? And Ron Miscavige was also like imprisoned by his own son, right, in one of these camps, right? And he actually, he actually got away. Right, he actually got away, and his story of how he got away, like, they had to plan this whole thing. It's like a movie. I don't know how this is his escape from that camp, but it should be turned into a movie, right? But at some point, his own son wanted to wanted his father to die, right? And he actually planned that, right? You just listen to that story; it's amazing. But I don't know, like, this is all an open secret, and everybody knows. Like, why is knowing all of this? Why is David not arrested? Where is he right now? Why is he not arrested? Knowing that he did, like, his father wrote a book about everything he has done, right? His story is turned into a book, but why is he free? I don't understand. How is that possible?
Beej brought up a good point. Police in Clearwater know their place, and some are members, and that's what other members are saying. They're saying that Scientology owns the police around there. They say that they call the police when they've been raped. They've called the police when people have, harmed themselves. There was a Sea Org woman who was telling a story about how her husband was basically bull baited and bullied into killing himself. Okay, and when they try to go to the police and say something, well, all of a sudden, church people know that they've done it, and they get labeled a suppressive person, and that means that they're liars, and they need to be disposed of any way possible.
Right. Sobham is saying they have probably infiltrated different organizations. Doesn't sound very far-fetched given what they have done. Godless Atheist is saying they get away with it because they are mafia-style religion. People go missing. Yeah, I know, but it seems like these are things that mafia stuff used to be like, I don't know, so 1960s, or I don't know why. Like even today, with all the information we have, like, are they really still gonna be able? Like, how is it not somebody somewhere in the White House or in Congress is not gonna decide, like, what the hell? How are we letting these people get away? We're just committing crimes under, and on our soil, and the police is in bed with them. Like, how in the United States? As you know, how I really don't understand how powerful these people can be. Like, are we gonna get in trouble because like we're gonna they're gonna come sue us, aren't they?
Next thing you know, there's going to be like a website about us and how we do terrible
Oh
things.
yeah, okay. I mean, I have said so many controversial stuff that I don't know how else are gonna embarrass me. I don't know. I mean, everything I would end up. The mad Gaytheist is saying. They are very wealthy. Scientology is a very expensive religion. Yeah, it's actually one of the only religions that wants the money up front rather than first getting you brainwashed and then asking you for money. They're like, no, you just have to start paying right at the beginning, which I don't.
Well, you get a free reading.
Oh yeah, okay, so free reading, that's all you get, but after that you have to pay.
Yeah.
The e-meters. Let me see what the top comments are. GC is saying the church. Oh, this is a long comment. Should I read it? Okay, I'll read it. No. That's too long of a comment. Jack is saying still better behaved than the Catholic Church. I don't know how you can compare that, but okay. Melika is saying, to be honest, Scientology is one of my favorite religion. It was literally written by a science fiction writer and people bought it. Actually, Scientology is a very good way of showing people how, because a lot of people say, like, hey, how could Christianity be big unless something really meaningful? Was there something meaningful in there? Like, these things don't just become popular for no reason. Some people say it must be because of God, or must be because there's something useful in it, or how Islam becomes so big, or how Hinduism has become so big. Like, how could a cult like this just start? And Scientology is so great because because it just happened in our time, and we could just see how it happens. Like, well, it probably, Christianity and Islam and Hinduism probably happened the same way Scientology started. Like, look, like you can see, I mean, we don't know for sure, but we can see an example of how that is possible, right? For something to just, somebody just wrote a story and all of a sudden people just believed it, and all of a sudden now it's a religion. Actually, today we have another example of another new religion as well, so we'll get to that, right?
We will.
Sam is saying, I've been waiting years for this. Oh, by the way, yeah, who is this person that is suing the church? The main point of the story. This person has balls, like that, like really, like that's some to go against.
This is
like
one hell of a woman.
Yeah, like more balls than I would ever have, because I wouldn't go against the Church of Scientology. Right? Like, I wouldn't. Like, I would, like, people are like, yeah, the IRS was like, okay, these people are too scary. Let's just give them tax exemption. And this woman is like, I'll fight them. Like,
Yeah.
how is she not? How is she still? What did they do? Like, does she have like legal lawyers and funding, and like, or is she
wouldn't
rich?
matter.
What?
It wouldn't matter, because not only are they going to go after her, the details in this report tell them exactly who she is. Okay? There aren't too many people that would have been with Shelley at the time that she went out as their personal assistant. Right?
Right.
So they know exactly who this person is. So her lawyers, everyone that's involved in protecting her or trying to save her, they're all going to get attacked.
Right. Yeah. So, but this is just civil law. Is there any chance that this civil law is going to translate into criminal law at some point? Because maybe this will unearth some information that will be interesting to the government as well. You know what I mean? Because this is just she can't like, she's not. Is she putting any charges against them, or is she just suing them for money?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what exactly.
I just hope, even if it's only civil law, it just that whole process will just bring a whole bunch, stuff in the open, that will just, that would be very hard to ignore. Sopam is saying, am I correct in thinking you're talking about? Oh yes, but Subham, don't ask about, because I cut these, videos in pieces, so we shouldn't talk. I shouldn't have talked about the later news. But, Ali, did you want to add anything?
No.
All right, let's go to the next news.
Next news is out of Texas. A pastor who wanted women executed for abortions was arrested for raping a child. 2 months ago, when he was still a Southern Baptist pastor, Stephen Bratton testified in favor of a Texas bill that could have allowed women who got abortions to be charged with a homicide, a crime punishable by death in the Lone Star State. The 43-year-old was charged with continuous sex abuse of a child. He stands accused of molesting a teenage relative for 2 years, including intercourse multiple times a day or several times a week. Harris County deputy said this weekend that he confessed to his wife and clergy members about the abuse last month. So this guy was enraged when the bill didn't actually get passed in Texas. It was a bill that was going to give women the death penalty for having an abortion. And he was pretty outraged about it. He was very vocal about speaking out against that and the people who didn't allow the bill to get passed. And so his church, the Grace Baptist Church that he was a preacher at, has issued a statement saying Bratton is no longer in a position of leadership at the church and is no longer receiving a salary. They added that he was excommunicated by the church the week after he confessed his crimes to pastors, meaning they've washed their hands clean of him. So, yeah, I mean, this isn't like he might have done it, he's being accused of. He admitted to doing this to a teenager for 2 years.
Yeah, guys, be careful with stories like this. First of all, this is not the good news because, I mean, a child was, like, raped, but it's good news that he was arrested. But be careful with stories like this because it's easy for anti-religious people like us to not all of a sudden overgeneralize, and because we keep hearing stories like this about pastors, to go ahead and say, like, oh, all pastors are like this. Like, no, not all pastors are like this, okay? Just be careful. I'm glad this guy was arrested. I mean, he's a fucking hypocrite. But I'm way worse than that, actually. Never mind. But just be careful, and also be careful not to claim that this is. So, religion is responsible for this, and I will tell you why. But it's not. This is not something that Christianity allows, right? So don't blame Christianity or Islam directly for stuff like this, because there's nothing in, correct me if I'm wrong, Ali, there's nothing in Christian doctrine that allows an action like this, right? So directly you cannot blame Christianity, and this happens in Islamic circles as well, right? In Islamic, like in Iran, we had a case of this Quran teacher that had molested a whole bunch of boys. A very famous Quran teacher, close to the supreme leader. But indirectly, religion is responsible because of creating an environment of trust for people that don't deserve trust, the environment of authority and legitimacy, an environment where parents will think that men of God or women of God are to be trusted with children because of what? Because, well, they're with God, right? Like, no, there's no certification, nothing, none of that is required to be checked, and putting people in such a high, such a high position that their position of authority could be used as to intimidate people, and to take victims and take advantage of them in a way. So indirectly, religion creates environments where these things are more possible. And this story is anecdotal evidence, so don't just think like, oh, pastors do this on average more because of this story. Pastors and priests do this on average more compared to the general population, but you shouldn't be convinced by that based on a story. You should be convinced by that because you actually, like, check the data, right? It is true that the average is higher, but don't just take individual stories like this to be convinced. But again, it's not because of the religion commanding it, it's because of the environment religion creates that for these things to happen. Do you agree with this, Ali?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, that was short. Will is saying, did the story say that pastor he confessed to did Yeah. He confessed. He admitted it. Oh,
Well, I think Will is asking in our chat, did the story say what uh, the people he confessed to did with that? So it says in this article that he confessed his crimes to his wife and other pastors, but did they go to the police and turn him in?
oh,
Doesn't say.
doesn't say. Oh, and by the way, another indirect way of religion being responsible for actions like this, even though it doesn't command it, is the. This is especially true with
I take
Christianity.
it back. I'm sorry. I need to correct myself. It does say that the pastors did go to the police.
Okay. Wait, the pastor went himself to the police?
The people he told went to the police.
Oh, okay, good. But another indirect way that Christianity is responsible for this is Christianity does give you the license to sin, because as long as you ask for God for forgiveness, all your sins are forgiven through Jesus, right? So it basically it's the opposite of what people say, that religion makes you more moral. No, actually, the more religious you are, the more you have the license to sin, because all you have to do is sin and then you ask for forgiveness and you're all good, right? So it again, in an indirect way, religion also does encourage you to be able to do whatever you want, because who cares what you did, as long as you believe in God, you go to heaven, right? So that's another indirect way that religion promotes these kind of things. The Mad Atheist is saying, how old was the child? Do you know?
They're just calling her an underage child who was a teenager.
Okay, so they're not saying.
This guy, he was a father of 7.
He himself is the father of 7?
Yeah, he himself is a father of 7.
Okay.
And he was sexually abusing a relative, by the way. This teen underage girl was a relative. They don't say specifically what.
Maybe that's why they're not giving it the age, because it's narrowing it down so much that you probably will be able to tell who she is.
Right.
So the top comment in the Facebook is saying, no wonder he wanted to protect the unborn. In a few years they could become his victims. Ew. She was quoting somebody else. Mira is saying another one. It's always those. It's not always those. So Mira is saying it's always those pious, high and mighty types who project their bestest or basest desires unto others. I don't know what that means. But guys, don't like. I know it's very tempting to be. It's true that pastors and priests and other religious figures do these things more often than the rest of the community, but it's not a don't ever say, oh, always, right? And also, don't be convinced by the news news that you hear, right? Be convinced because you actually went and checked the statistics, because just following the news is not going to give you a good understanding of how the data is, because the news is based on what's most interesting, right? So I mean, if there are many other people that are molesting and children out there, but obviously a pastor who had asked for execution of women who have committed abortion, because it's so hypocritical, that's going to get a lot more attention, right? So you could be like, hey, wait, is it actually more pastors and priests, or does this news just get more coverage compared to other people that molest children? Like, you have to ask yourself that. And then when you go actually look at the data, like, oh no, it's actually pastors and priests. It's true. They do it more than average compared to the rest of the population. But just don't assume that by following the news, because the news gets more engagement based on what gets more clicks, what gets more engagement. So be skeptical about it. Don't come up with patterns about how the world works based on what gets the news coverage, right? This alright, so we have a troll on Facebook. I might ban him if he keeps trolling. Ali, did you want to add anything?
No.
By the way, Ali, when I see trolls on Facebook, I know that we have a process where we're supposed to report who we banned and for what, but it's hard for me to do that because we're doing a live stream at the same time. So I'm just gonna ban the trolls while I'm live streaming, and I don't know how to report it. I just do a screenshot, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just do that. That way, whenever I'm looking at our ban list, like I'll know that, okay, this one was probably Armin. I like to make sure that there are no rogue bans going on our page.
Yeah, no, yeah, because guys, like a lot of people think that we're very trigger. Like we have a process where like every admin on our page and our groups has to actually like explain to the other admins why somebody was banned, or so that no admin becomes too trigger happy with the ban, and like make sure that there's a legitimate reason. Okay. So I took it even when I ban something, I have to actually report it to the other admins and give a reason so that they could actually evaluate whether or not it was a legit ban or not, right? So I just took a screenshot. That's all I did. No,
Thank you.
no, Thomas, I wasn't talking about you. You're not a troll. Anyways, let's go to the next news.
Next news. I want to thank Subham for giving us this suggestion. It's out of India. Donald Trump, Bhakt in India, installs 6-foot statue of him, performs puja with milk. Busa Krishna, a farmer in Telangana, who is often regarded as Trump Bhakt in India, has taken his devotion to the next level. He installed a 6-foot statue of Trump on Trump's birthday on June 14th. The Telangana farmer, who also performed a puja with a statue of milk, came into the limelight as a Trump fan when pictures of him offering prayers to the photo of Donald Trump went viral on social media. Dismissing all allegations that he is praying Trump only for publicity, he has said that he has prayed to the United States president to bid an improvement on the U.S.-India relations. So in looking more into the story to kind of see how people around India feel about this guy, I saw an interview that someone had done with this guy's mother, and she said that she's very disappointed in her son's choice to worship Trump. And she said, the way she said it was so adorable. It was like this mother who, really wanted to be proud of her son, but was like, oh, no, not this, please. But she said that because he is their only son, they're there to support him, even though they don't approve of this at all.
What can we do? He's our son. What can we do? We should still love him. By the way, we reported on this guy a couple of months ago, didn't we? But I think his religion has now evolved, because it was before we reported on him, it was just him and like 3 or 4 other people. But now he has a temple and everything. So I thought like this is going to be a temporary thing and it's just going to die out. Like he was just fascinated with Trump and he had pictures and everything. But now this is actually turning into a legit cult.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, he's getting more and more people to come, and it's crazy. But he used to only have pictures. Right. So when we reported on this way earlier, he had a temple with like a picture of Trump and offerings around it, and now it's this huge 6-foot tall statue.
So I really want to meet this guy. Like, does he think like he's God? Like is there like, did he create anything? Does Trump have like any superpowers, or like how does that work?
I know.
Do you know how many people he has managed to convert to his religion?
I don't, but the numbers are growing. That's all we know.
Wow. Imagine. What happens when Trump is not president anymore? Is his religion going to die, or is he?
I bet Trump is going to go back to being that successful business tycoon. He's just going to keep on worshiping him. I don't
know. I wonder if Trump knows about this. He probably
does.
He does?
Oh, he does. Yes. So Trump actually heard about this and has weighed in that he thinks it's great, obviously.
Of course he does. Like you're like, he probably said, finally, this is why can't more people in the US be like this guy? Let me see what the top comment is. Top comment says, newest addition to their group of gods. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's India. What do you expect? Let me see. What else? Oh, actually, a lot of people say God Emperor to Trump, but obviously that's a joke. This guy is actually serious. This is not the God Emperor that the Trump supporters say.
Oh, by the way, it cost him $2,000 to make
What
this
the
statue.
hell? He paid out of pocket, or the people?
Yes,
This guy is dedicated. Holy shit! I wonder how far he's gonna go. Like, let's make a bet.
I don't know.
Like before his religion dies. Maybe 500 years from now, this is going to be one of the world's major religions. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
People in our chat are saying that the video is stopped.
No.
Yes.
No, it doesn't. No, it's not. No. Yeah, I'm frozen here. Let me check.
Okay.
Let me check. It says health is good for me on YouTube. Do you guys have the audio at least? Oh,
Oh,
it's
they're
back.
saying it's back.
It's
Good,
back.
now it's back.
Was the audio cut at any point? Do we need to repeat anything? If the audio is good, I'm not going to repeat anything. Yeah, must have just been a buffering. Okay. So we're good. We're good.
Hi, Chris.
Facebook people are saying it's good. Mine hasn't stopped. So it's just
Okay.
YouTube. Muscal is saying, is this a new religion? Well, I mean, it's a new cult. I guess the difference between a religion and a cult is just the size. Other than the size, there's no... I don't know what the official number is from when you go from being a cult to a religion. But I think this guy is just at the cult stage right now. Anybody... Yeah, nothing stopped here. Thank you for Facebook people are saying... So it's a YouTube glitch. Nothing on my end. Because Facebook didn't stop at all. But guys, on YouTube, can you tell us if the audio stopped at all? Audio was cut, but it was good now. Okay, but I'm not going to repeat anything. All right, cool. Should we go to the next news, Ali? Oh,
Yeah,
no, wait, before we go, shout out to Subham for sending us this news.
I did that in the beginning.
Oh, you did that. I wasn't paying
forgot.
attention. Sorry.
Yes. That's okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you twice.
Okay.
Next bit of news out of Lahore, Pakistan. Court sentences Lahore man to death over blasphemy. In 2016, police had filed a first information report against a man identified as Salim under Section 295C of the Pakistan Penal Code after he uttered blasphemous remarks in public place in Lahore Gate area. According to Deputy Prosecutor General Muhammad Amjad, 12 witnesses had recorded testimonies against Salim. 6 of the testimonies had been recorded in court, while the other half were recorded via video link due to security concerns. The court sentenced him to death in a 3-year-old blasphemy case, and he was fined 200,000 RS. So, okay, just to kind of let you guys know what's going on here. There is no proof other than some people coming around saying, yes, what he said was blasphemous. All right, this isn't recorded on paper. It wasn't recorded on video. It wasn't recorded anywhere. He said something that others took as blasphemous. And it has been 3 years. That's why I'm reporting on this now, even though this happened in 2016. He's now been sentenced to death.
So he was in jail for 3 years, waiting for a sentence, and they confirm now that he's... Even though they don't have any... I mean, this is sad to say for us that, oh, they don't even have an evidence, as if that should make a difference. I mean, sentenced to death for blasphemy. What did he say allegedly? You know?
Allegedly just blasphemous remarks. And I think the reason why they're not getting specific anywhere, no one knows exactly what this man said, is because 12 people probably didn't get the story straight, but they're just like, 12 people say it was blasphemous. So, and I also want to add here that this man, half of the trial, while some testimonies were via video link and some were in court, he was not always allowed in court. He had to stay in jail for a lot of the trial because they didn't want him leaving for security purposes.
What the hell? What?
Just for talking.
When is he supposed to be executed?
They haven't said.
Is there anything that we can do? What's his name again?
They're only releasing his name as Salim.
So we don't even know who this guy is?
No, they're not releasing a lot of information, and I think that what we could do, all of us, is write to groups like Amnesty International, write to people to get the word out on him and kind of help put some pressure on the government, because if anyone knows people from Pakistan, and we have consulates in Pakistan, and we had a great member of our team that killed himself in Pakistan because the way things are there are so hard when it comes to religion. If you say anything blasphemous, you're looking at jail, you're looking at death. And you know it, whether it be on Facebook and you delete it really quick, but if someone snapped a screenshot of it, they'll report you. You could say it wasn't me sitting at the computer making that remark. This is a photoshopped thing. It doesn't matter. You're in jail. There's no way to get out of it. If you don't like someone, you can claim blasphemy. They'll get arrested, even if you have no proof. So this is just one story of hundreds that we hear constantly coming out of Pakistan. The government sends out texts reminding people that if they see or hear anything blasphemous, here's a link for you to report it.
What the hell? Instead of saying, God damn, like I don't know what I'm honestly like. Sometimes I feel like giving up. Like like I'm out of ideas with this because we don't even know who this guy is. Like how could we even start defending? We don't have any pictures of him because usually people, if you want to start a campaign to bring attention to somebody, usually I've noticed that if you have a picture of them, it works a lot more. Like now, look, even the picture that they have is a stock image, right? Because they don't have any pictures of the guy.
Well, and I'm worried personally for the writer, Rana Bilal, of this article. I hope that's just a pin name because her even reporting details might get her in trouble.
I mean, this is not going to get enough attention because, like, who was that lady that just got out recently from Pakistan that was on death row? Like, at least she got so much attention, right? Which is good because that managed to help get her out. What was her name?
Right.
God damn it. But this guy is not gonna get nearly as much attention, and he needs it even more because she at least got she didn't get the death sentence, right? But this guy is getting the death sentence, and I don't even know how much time he has, and I don't even know what we can do. Like it's so insane.
I know.
God damn it, Pakistan! What the hell is wrong with you?
And if the court hadn't sentenced him to death, in Pakistan, you have to worry about mob justice.
Yeah, that's what that lady had to do. Asia Bibi, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, like she didn't get the death sentence and she was freed, but she had to get out of Pakistan ASAP because the mob, the mob would have gotten her outside of the jail. But I guess the situation with regards to how sensitive the Muslim community is so bad that the UK said that we don't want her. Because they were like, she's a security concern because we don't know how our Muslims are going to react. UK, the United Kingdom was not giving asylum to her because they were like, oh, we don't trust our own Muslims. Like, what does that say about how, yeah, God damn it. But this guy is way worse situation because Asia Bibi, the court said that no, we don't have enough proof for blasphemy, so we can't execute her. This poor guy, no death sentence, so he's fucked. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Like, there's no way that I don't think he could get a lawyer because then the lawyer would get death threats, right?
Absolutely. In Pakistan, absolutely.
Yeah, so this guy's fucked. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't think there's any. I mean, it might be very cold and sad for me to say. I know people wouldn't like it, but I don't think there's anything that could be done. And this guy is fucked. This guy is absolutely fucked.
Well, I'm the opposite of you. I always think there's hope. So if anyone feels like taking this article, taking the name Salim to Amnesty International, let them know what's going on. See if someone can find out more information. See if somebody can do something to start bringing some attention to this case before it's too late.
It's too
That's
late.
all we can do.
Yeah, it was already too late. Chris is saying, "Me too, Armin. Some days overwhelming. There is so much work to do to save this world from magical thinking." Yeah, sometimes there's so much that you feel like, you know what, fuck it, but then you keep doing it. I don't know. Hey. All right, that was depressing. I thought today was supposed to be a better day.
Well, it's less depressing overall.
Yeah.
This one was bad.
I don't want to give up on this guy. I don't know what to do though. Yeah, just Yeah. At least figure out who the guy is. Anyways. Should we go to the next news?
Yes. Next news is out of the USA. Christian preacher says our sins cause extreme weather, not climate change. Speaking on Baker's show, Mary Colbert, a right-wing activist, said climate change was Satan's way of distracting us from realizing the consequences of our sins. God is sending tornadoes and storms to punish us, but Satan wants you to think climate change is responsible. The thing that man needs to do is repent, Colbert declared. So, yeah, if anyone who doesn't know who Jim Baker is, and that's the show this Mary Colbert woman, she was on his show. Jim Baker used to be a huge televangelist with his wife, Tammy Baker, until he went to jail for a lot of fraudulent activity. She divorced him in jail, married like his business partner. That's kind of irrelevant, but I'm just giving you a background. He comes out and he's back on TV, and he is selling buckets of food for you to eat during the end of world times.
Oh yeah, they have like a
Yes.
whole kit of how to prepare for the end of the world, right?
Yeah,
And they make a
yeah.
shit ton of money on that.
Shit ton of money. So this
Right.
guy's back at it, selling his fraudulent bullshit, being on TV, saying outrageous things in the name of Christianity. And he gets these people to come on, like Mary Colbert, who's saying, you know, anyone who believes in science, anyone who believes in science, you're scientists, what you're actually doing is following the devil. Because the devil wants you to believe that climate change is causing all of these natural disasters and stuff. But what it really is it's because you touch yourself at night. It's, you know, because you lied to a woman in the grocery store. It's really your sins that's causing this extreme weather. And the devil wants you to believe there's no way for you to change what's happening, but you can if you just stop sinning.
How does she know all that?
She's connected to God.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how to respond to this. It's just so. I mean, it's so out there that you're just like, yeah, okay. Like, is she a big deal herself? This Mary Colbert lady?
Is she what?
Is she a big deal herself?
Not really. No, just another, you know, crazy evangelist.
Wait, but don't they
Um,
want the end of the time? So shouldn't they want more extreme weather
they
stuff happen?
should.
Like, wouldn't like who's the other guy? The main guy, the Dan what?
Jim Baker.
Jim Baker. Wouldn't he be like, Mary, what the hell are you doing? We want extreme weather. Like, my entire show, I'm making money based on bringing the end of the world, and you're trying to prevent extreme weather. Like, I mean, aren't they working against each other at this point anyway?
They are.
Like, I mean, if you guys really want the end of the world and is sinning that is causing all this extreme shit happening, then we should all be masturbating nonstop. I guess that's, imagine how extreme that the world would get. I mean, that would bring the end of the time. No, like gay orgies for everyone.
Everyone in the pile.
All right. You were saying, can you tell the most sinful states by how much they suffer from disaster, like the tornado area of Louisiana? Oh yeah, actually, the worst states actually are the Christian ones when it comes to extreme weathers, aren't they? So tornadoes and stuff. Ellie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess yeah. I don't. Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
who cares about data though?
The belt that's
What?
kind of affected the most by it, right?
Yeah.
And then if you look at the West Coast, they get the earthquakes.
Oh yeah, so that's West California. That would make sense, I guess, to them because that's a very sinful place, right?
Right.
So earthquakes, at least, God got it right with the earthquakes, but not with the tornadoes. His aim, he needs to practice his aim with tornadoes. Top comment saying, looks like thoughts and prayers don't help the IQ. Andrew, okay, no, this one. Second top. This is confident stupidity is one of the greatest dangers to humanity and our planet. And then another one is saying, I agree. Our sins of overbreeding, overconsumptions, cruelty to animals, greed, corruption, and selfishness definitely cause climate change. I don't think that's what they mean by sin, but okay. But again, yeah, if Christians want the end of the world, then start masturbating right now. Do you wanna add anything? Sure. Should we go to the next news?
Well, on that note of masturbation, we'll get into more of that later,
Oh, really?
actually. So,
Okay.
but our next story, I again want to give a shout out to Subham for this news article and for helping me when I wasn't quite sure what this meant. So, a very big thank you to Subham for helping the research on this story as well. Out of Uttar Pradesh, a man kills his wife for refusing to have sex with a tantric. Police arrested two persons, including the husband of a 32-year-old woman who was allegedly killed for refusing to have sexual relations with a tantric so that the family could become rich. The woman was drowned in Ganga River, and the accused have confessed to the crime. So, a tantric is kind of like a magic man, right?
Oh wait, I
Still,
shouldn't be laughing. Somebody died. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
a tantric is like a magic man who comes up to this guy and he's like, "Look, guy, let your wife have sex with me, and I am going to make you rich. I'm going to use like my magic and make you rich." So the guy's like, "Awesome!" So he goes and he tells his wife, "Hey, you're gonna have sex with this tantric, so that the family can be rich." Well, the woman says, "No, I don't want to do that," and because she refused to do this, he kills her. He kills her and throws her in the Ganga River, which, by the way, it's where a lot of victims end up. But
Wait, is this who? Is this the husband? Is this a husband? So
the
the
husband
husband were
killed her for
telling.
not having sex with a tantric, a magic man that came by and said, "I want to have sex with your wife."
Wait, he showed up himself, or did the
Yeah,
husband go find her?
no, the tantric shows up, wants to have sex with the wife.
So, okay, okay, you go on. Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, this is so sad, and I mean, but at the same time, it's just so bizarre that I'm trying not to laugh, but Magic Man
because
shows.
it's so sad. Yeah,
But at the
Subham
same
is
time, I
saying
mean,
that.
it's so ridiculous. I'm trying to stop myself. Magic Man shows up and just says like, "Hey, I want to have sex with your wife," and the man is like, "You better have sex with this Magic Man." Like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah. Subham is reminding me a little bit more of what a tantric is. They're an
Okay,
occultist,
I'm just gonna
black
call them
magic,
Magic Man.
exorcist, astrologer, etc.
Wait, so
So
black magic, exorcist, astrology. Is this those guys that people go and like worship their penises, like sit? You know, I've seen videos of in India.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's them. Yeah, these. Yeah, so I don't know if people go what. I mean, don't is weird. But these people are just like standing. These what is it called? Ta-
Tantric.
tantric and they're just standing there and they have decorations in their penis and there's just like people are lining up, men, women, and they just come and just touch the penis and just there's a bell hanging on it and they're just like and they put their hand on their head. It's just so weird. Like, I think somebody just made this up and like I bet somebody said like, hey, guess what, I'm gonna make up this cult that I get people to just worship my penis and have sex with me whenever I ask for it, and it just took off.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Ugh, horrified. And I just feel so sorry for this woman because here she is. She's saying, "No, I don't want to have sex with him." And the husband says, "Okay, then I'm going to kill you."
Wait, is tantric man anything to do with tantric
Tantric sex.
sex? Is that any way related?
It might be. I don't know. I didn't ask Subhim, so maybe
Oh,
Subhim can let us know.
this guy is a fucking idiot. Like, your man shows up and like, hey, I want to sex with your wife, and he's like, you better have sex with this man. No, I'm gonna kill you. What? And he does it. Okay.
And by the way, like he just like promised that the guy would be rich. He didn't like promise
Oh.
I'm going to right now give you $1 million
Oh.
or anything like that.
Right. So this is kind of like what is that movie? Um, the movie where the rich man comes and offers the husband to have sex with his wife, and he pays him $1 million or something. I forgot that movie. But this is kind of like a sneakier version of that because it's just a promise of money rather than actual money. And the guy fell for it. I can't
Sadly.
believe it. Wait, is this any way related? Like, can Hinduism at all? I'm gonna ask this because I know a lot of people want to be like very sensitive about this. Is Hinduism at all to be blamed for any of this, or no? This is completely something separate.
So that's actually why I spoke with Subham about this because I wanted to make sure that we were giving credit to the correct religious ideas here. And so him correct me if I'm wrong, but he did say that this is in a way related to Hinduism because it all kind of stems from the same kind of beliefs. So it's
Right.
it's like a branch out of.
Now you're gonna get so many comments. Check the comments. Fake news, fake news.
Fake
Not
news.
relevant to Hinduism. It's fake news. Why don't you check your facts? You're just gonna see comment right out. Like guys, you have to see our previous videos. Every time we blame something on Hinduism, there's so many sensitive, triggered Hindus that come out. Like I think that the Hindus are out competing Muslims when it comes to how sensitive they are when you target their religion.
Oh, absolutely. I made a Twitter that got like over 100 comments of people being like, "You're stupid."
I mean,
it was so fun.
I honestly thought it was Muslims that they were the most sensitive ones, but I shit on Islam all the time, but I get way more angry Hindus whenever I target Hinduism than Islam. So congratulations, Hindus, you're now the most sensitive religion. And they always brag about not beheading people as if they deserve, like, oh, at least we don't behead people when they disagree with us. Well,
Yeah.
and you're like as if that's a such a high bar for them to be able to. Congratulations. Subham is saying, by the way, an additional info: tantrics are also a part of Buddhism. Yeah, I mean, Buddhism, Hinduism, Tantric, the lines are very blurry, right? So whoever tells you, like, no, this is not part of Hinduism, or this is definitely Buddhism, like, it's not that easy. Like, it's not like with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, it's very easy to be able to, like, oh, this is where Islam starts and Christianity ends. It's easier to come up with lines for that. For these, the lines are a little bit more, gray, so they're all related, but it's not that easy to be able to decide how related they are. People would disagree on this. Sopam is also saying it's a Hindu belief that how do you pronounce this one? Can you read?
It's a Hindu belief that Brahmins are to be followed.
Brahmins are the upper class, right? The upper caste.
Right? The
upper
caste, yes.
Okay, Brahmins are because I always read it and I've never pronounced. Brahmins are to be followed even if they are uneducated, while you cannot follow. Again, this is the lower caste. How do you pronounce the lower caste? Dalits. So Brahmins are the upper caste. Dalits are the lower caste. If they are a genius. So wait, let me read this again. It's a Hindu belief that Brahmins are to be followed even if they are uneducated, while you cannot follow Dalits even if they are a genius. Again, Brahmins are the actually it's not technically correct to say Dalits are the lower class because they are not even a caste. They're the outcasts, right?
Right.
Subham is saying, I got a death threat from a Hindu in AR comment sections today. Oh, congratulations. Wait, Subham, so this whole accusations that only Muslims will give you death threats, that's not even true anymore because you got a death threat from a Hindu for criticizing Hinduism.
You know what's funny? You know what else I've been getting lately?
What?
Is a lot of Hindus will tell me that they can't wait for ISIS or Muslim extremists to come and kill me for the things I say.
What?
Yeah. So even though they're Hindu, they're excited about the Muslim extremists.
Wow. For Hindus to be celebrating Muslims, you must have really got on their nerves for them to be able to support Islamic extremists, because that's their number one enemy, I guess, right?
Yeah.
By the way, this is only going to become a bigger and bigger problem. Like Hindu nationalism, Hindu extremism is on the rise, people. This is the main rise. I tell people, if you're looking for the rise of the alt-right, if you're looking in Europe, that's not really where it's happening. It's mostly happening in India. Muscal is saying, you mean the movie called The Indecent Proposal? Yes, that's movie. Thank you, Muscal. Subham is saying, I am from a Dalit family. Am I pronouncing that right? Yeah, Dalits have been considered as untouchables for centuries. Yeah, but my understanding was that they're not even part of the caste system. Like if you look at the God, where they like the head, the feet, the hand, they're not even in that. They're just they're an outcast, right? Let me know if that's true, or am I getting this wrong?
Yeah, the different castes. So like the Brahmins come from the mouth head region of Brahma. Next class comes from the shoulders. Then there's a thigh class. Then there's a foot class, and then all outside altogether are the Dalits.
Well, not all of them, because it's weird, because the Parsis are technically should be outcasts because they're no in none of these, but they're also seen as superior, right? So even though the Parsis, even though they're not in any caste, so technically they should be treated the same as the Dalits, right? But they are treated the same as the upper caste because for some reason India decided that they love Parsis. I don't know for what reason, but they just decided that, hey, we like these guys, so that you're upper class now. We just decide that for you. Sobham is saying, yeah, they are outcasts. You got it right. Yay! Thank you. I got that right. Okay, so I know something. Should we go to the next news?
Next news is, I'm sure I got this right. Yep. Out of the USA, thousands petition Netflix to cancel Amazon Prime's Good Omens. More than 20,000 Christians have signed a petition.
Wait. Before you continue, just read the title, okay? Just see if you can see what the problem with the title is. Thousands petition Netflix to cancel Amazon Prime's Good Omens. Okay? I hope you see what the problem with that is. Okay, but go on.
Yes, so more than 20,000 Christians have signed a petition calling for the cancellation of Good Omens, the television series adapted from Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman's 1990 fantasy novel, unfortunately addressing their petition to Netflix when the series is made by Amazon Prime. They say that Good Omens is another step to make Satanism appear normal, light, and acceptable, and it mocks God's wisdom.
So 20,000 people?
20,000.
20,000 Christians. So none of them checked who's making the show? Like they're petitioning Netflix and the show is actually made by Amazon. And like, did they not...
Imagine being so outraged about something that you don't even check to make sure it's true.
I mean, you know who should be offended by this? Amazon. Because,
Yeah, right.
because for me, this shows that people see Netflix as the official like TV series maker, like above everything else. And Amazon, it was like, no, you should be angry with us. We're making this show, you idiots. Like, what
Yeah.
But this is beautiful. I mean, they look so ridiculous. It's so great, like, because of this. And also, I don't know if they understand how much free promotion they have given for this show. Like, I didn't know about this show. But then I heard about a show that has devil worship and stuff in it. I'm going to check this out. Like, thank you. I didn't know about it. Did you know about this show?
I didn't. I had no idea this show existed. And so I was like you. I was like, wow, I'm going to look into this more. So another thing, though, that has the Christians really pissed off is the voice of God on this show is played by a woman.
Oh, interesting. Wait, are these people... Did anybody get angry with the show Lucifer? Because they should have Lucifer is like the good guy in this show, isn't it? Like, wouldn't they...
Yeah, Lucifer is a Netflix thing too, right? Like,
Oh.
someone correct me if I'm wrong. At least I'm not petitioning that I'm right.
Right.
But yeah, so I think maybe that's what it was. So that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if maybe they thought it was a different show or something. And looking into it further, no, they are mad at the Good Omens. They're mad about a woman being God, which is insane.
Ali,
Yeah.
Sobham and another godless atheist, they both are saying Netflix actually replied on Twitter saying that they will stop making the show. That's so
amazing.
That's a great response. Good job, Netflix. That was a pretty good response. Nice. Let's see. That's we should find that tweet. Let me see what the top comment is. Kristen is saying, love that both are mocking this ridiculousness as well. Netflix tweet. Oh, both of them are apparently. So Netflix tweeted, okay, we promise not to make any more. Amazon responded, hey, Netflix will cancel Stranger Things if you cancel Good Omens. Oh, Amazon and Netflix are having fun over this. So this backfired on them so much. They became the joke. Oh,
Not only that, they've advertised this thing, like you were saying, they've advertised this thing that they hate and want gone, and now other people like you and I are like, hey, this sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, and you got competitor companies to to have fun with each other and like promote each other's shows, right? Like Amazon is now mentioning Stranger Things, which is another promotion. But again, this is why you don't ban your haters unless they're trolling. Okay, the only people you ban on your page on YouTube channel is that if they're just flooding the page with this nonsense that is making it difficult for other people to communicate, you ban those kind of trolls. But the people that are hating, your haters are your number one promoters, right? You should love the people that hate your content, because they will go out and they will talk about your content for free more than anyone else, right? Haters are the best promoters. Another godless atheist saying 1 million moms tried to get Fox to cancel Lucifer. They claimed victory. Then Netflix picked it up. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I'm actually very happy to see so many Bible-themed shows where the demons and the devil are not the bad guy. I mean, the Christians must really hate this. You know what I want one day? I want shows based on Islamic stories, right?
Right.
That would never. I don't think that would happen in my lifetime, but I'm hopeful. I mean, shows that a good story with Muhammad as the character would be one that he's not really not like the shows that Muslims make, that he's the best, but also not something that he's just pure evil, right? Like you want to make him like a character that he does some really shady bad stuff, but he's also relatable a little bit to make it believable. Like that's the kind of show I want to see about Muhammad or Ali or Hussein or something like that. Like characters, like you don't want like old kind of villains like that they just are pure evil and they do everything bad for no apparent reason. Like you want kind of something like Thanos or something. You're like, oh, I see why he did that. He's still that's kind of sort of fucked up, but I see how it got there. You know what I mean? Like that would be an amazing. That would be a show that I was so much. But no one's gonna make that because that's just a death sentence, I guess.
Well, I do want to talk about David McGaffey. He helped with Haptia Press. They're publishing a comic book called The Falling Star by John Hammond. And this comic book follows the Bible as closely as possible, however, portraying the devil as a good guy.
Oh my God. This is what I was waiting for forever. Where can I get this?
On Amazon.
Is it comic?
Yes, it's a comic book, and it looks so cool, by the way. John Hammond wrote it. He is both the author and the illustrator. He follows the Bible as closely as possible, and it's called The Falling Star. So if that interests you...
I mean, I've never been into comic books, but I might just become one right now.
You should. Yeah. It's really cool, so...
Chris is saying this story reminds me of Jesus feeding the people with bread and fish. 4,998 idiots didn't think to bring any food. Subham is saying I was actually thinking of a story where all mythologies exist in different realms. Hey, that's my idea. Stop stealing it. Thinking on the story would like to get in publish it. Oh shit! Subham is thinking of a story that I'm thinking of. I need to get on it before Subham read his book. Okay, should we go to the next news?
Yeah, next news. Out of Ohio, Dave Daubenmire.
Sorry. Somebody on Facebook is asking what is it called. I think you mentioned
The Falling Star.
The Falling Star. Okay, sorry. Go
on. Dave Daubenmire says that masturbation is gay because you're having sex with yourself. Dave Daubenmire, a Christian right activist, said on his Pass the Salt Live webcast that masturbation was wrong, in part because it was a form of homosexuality. He said that masturbation is a form of homosex. You're having sex with yourself. That's homosex, folks. It's male having sex with a male. That's homosex. This is him saying this, okay? If a woman masturbates, that's a woman having sex with a woman. That is a form of lesbianism. That is a form of lesbianism. I mean, what else could you call it? You could just call it lesbianism, I guess. But,
who is this guy?
So this guy is serious about this. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're married to a woman, if you're touching your penis, or as he also put it, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror and become aroused by your own body, then you're gay.
Okay, this is actually great. You know why? Because this guy is actually promoting gay tolerance. Because everybody masturbates, right? So
Yeah,
he's basically calling everybody gay. I mean, technically he should be calling them bi, shouldn't he be? Like, because he's not.
absolutely, or at the very least,
Yeah,
right?
because it's not like if you masturbate and you're attracted to women, then if you're gay, you're not gay. Then based on his logic, you should be bi. But this is great. Who is this guy? Is this guy like famous or anything?
He has his own webcast, and he does have quite the following.
Okay.
But
Okay.
here's where this is also scary and detrimental,
Yeah.
Armin. And I just want to bring this up as someone in kind of in the heat of it. Is this raises gay panic? Okay, so when people take this shit seriously, and you and I are laughing because this is ridiculous.
Gay panic.
And anyone who hears this is probably going to be laughing because people in our audience realize how ridiculous this is. But if you look at the Christian followers and you look at the people who take this stuff as word, take this as truth, these are people who are saying, oh my God, I do masturbate. That does make me gay. And now I hate gay people because I'm afraid now that I'm going to be attracted to them. So because I like to masturbate, because I like to touch myself, now I'm gay. And if I see a gay man, he is probably going to convince me to have sex with him.
Are you sure that would be the reaction? I feel like the reaction would like, hey, if touching myself is gay, maybe there's not that. Maybe being gay is not
That
that
would
bad.
be the most popular reaction, I
Yeah.
think.
Maybe there's. I mean,
However,
he called his whole audience gay. I mean, they all masturbate, so he just went and told all of them that they're gay. So maybe they think
with
like, well, if that makes me
extremists,
gay, maybe I shouldn't be hating on gay people that much, right?
right? But no,
No.
with extremists, and especially with religious extremists that preach the idea. I'm not saying all Christians preach the idea that homosexuals are bad or it's a sin. A lot of them are now coming out and saying that's not the case. But there are an extremist, bits of people throughout all Christian sects that will this will help rise the gay panic, unfortunately, for a few extremists.
Gay
So
panic sounds such a good name. Like that's the
it's
gay.
my new band name.
Yeah, that should be a bad name. But it shows, this also highlights how much they have focused on, like, among all the Christian sins, how obsessed these people are with homosexuality, right? Because even, I mean, masturbation was already a sin in Christianity. But no, for them to really tell you why masturbation is bad, the only way to be able to highlight that is to tell you it's gay. It's not enough for it to be its own sin. They're so obsessed with homosexuality for them to make you scared even more of it. They were like, it's not just a sin, it's gay. like, I
Yeah.
mean, this is.
Now it has to be two sins, right?
Like, why is it that among all the sins, the homosexuality is the one that they picked as the one that they want to be the most sensitive about? Like, I don't
No,
know.
maybe it's also our laws don't really help things. In the news, I know this is kind of off topic, but not really. But in the news recently, New York became the sixth state to get rid of the gay panic defense. So people could say, yeah, I was at a bar, I met this cute girl, I took her home, and it turned out she was trans, and so I killed her. She scared me. She should have told me the truth. People are getting lesser sentences for that, or they're getting off scot-free for it. And it's all because of the gay panic, right?
I
So
think. Well,
the fact that even our laws for the longest time helped cultivate this idea, maybe that's why it's still kind of a thing nowadays. I don't know.
I think every time something gets into the area of sex and gender or something, it just goes to some part of people's mind that it doesn't, that even murder and genocide doesn't go. You know what I mean? It just affects people in a different way. I don't know, a different reaction. Either, I mean, the example I give to people is like, for example, Game of Thrones had so many scenes of people being beheaded, tongues being pulled out, child being burned alive, right? And people were watching it, and all of a sudden, when somebody, I don't know if you haven't watched it, so I don't want no spoilers. Somebody, a favorite character, got raped. There was a petition to cancel the show, to boycott the show, right? So the rape scene was one step too far, even though you had a lot of murder and child burning and a whole bunch of other stuff. That was okay, but the
Right.
rape was the problem. The rape was the part that. So I don't know. I think this is why I think for even among all the sins, like transgender stuff, homosexuality. I don't know why people just react to these things more. Like you could tell somebody that so and so committed genocide, or like what a bad man, and like this guy is gay, and all of a sudden, the level of disgust for some reason is more. I don't know. Jack is saying aroused by one's own body. What I think he's portraying his own thoughts here because that's just a weird association. Sopam is saying, yeah, I don't know. Does anybody get aroused by their own body?
I was wondering that. Like, I've seen myself and I'm like, wow, I look pretty good, or something like that. But I'm not like, oh my God, I have to have sex with it. Like, I don't.
Does anybody look at the mirror and like, I would fuck that? Does anybody do that ever? I don't know. I mean, it's interesting if they do. I mean, no shaming on you if that's. I mean, that's
Fine.
okay. It's fine, but it's just I'm just curious. I'm not shaming anybody if they do want to fuck themselves. Sopam is saying, Armin, I sent you an article with the study showing that homophobic people are likely homosexuals themselves. I can send the link to Ali as well. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm probably not going to see it. I get way too many messages. But again, if there are studies like this, be careful. Just because it's more likely, that doesn't mean all. Okay, so just if somebody is a homophobe, that doesn't mean they're gay just 100% of the time. Okay, it doesn't mean, just in case you didn't hear what I said. The mad gay theist is saying you can't become gay that way. The only way to become gay is to apply at headquarters. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
apply that at our headquarters.
Yeah, you guys have your own headquarters? That's impressive. Okay. Let me see. Lisa is saying, sometimes I take off my ring so not to commit adultery.
Good on you.
Oh. I can still have respect for myself in the morning. I draw the line at watching myself, though. I don't want to do it with someone so out of shape. Lisa doesn't. Okay, that's fine. Tumila is saying there's a bit of similarity between masturbating and praying, though. It feels good to be. I don't think that's fair, but let me continue. It feels good to the person doing it, but has no effect whatsoever to the person you are imagining of. Yeah, but masturbating is healthy, I think. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it's good for you.
Healthy.
Yeah, it's good for you. So don't compare it to praying. That's not fair to masturbating.
Praying is a form of meditation, if you will. I mean, if you replaced prayers with things that you wish for and find some clarity in doing such.
Damn it! I just had a picture on YouTube that shouldn't have shown. It was on the screen. God damn it! What do I do? I have to go cut that part out now.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, don't post nudity stuff on our Facebook. Next time I have to check the comment section before I can show it. YouTube is not gonna like that. Anyways, should we go to the next news?
Next news is out of Alabama. In Alabama, farmers gather around a barn to beseech the heavens for rain. More than 100 farmers in Alabama gathered to pray for rain on Friday as large tracts of land in the Midwest remain underwater amid record rainfall, according to ABC-affiliated TV station WDHN. He can let those clouds up there and let the rain shower those crops, but we must ask forgiveness, and until we do that, forget it, the attendant said. So basically what they're saying is while other places are underwater, they're not getting any rain, and they have to ask for forgiveness, and they have to repent from their sins before God will send them a shower.
I mean, I'm in British Columbia, and it's one of the best places they don't have a water shortage or anything like that. Rains here pretty well. No short of other places buy water from British Columbia. So when it comes to water, British Columbia has it really well, and it's one of the most godless places on earth, right? British Columbia, at least Vancouver is. It's a very secular place, so I don't. Do they? I don't know. Does it even matter if they like if you point these things out to them? Does it even matter? It doesn't even
Not,
doesn't matter. I mean, what do you do with stories like this? You just like, haha, like what do we do? Like, I don't understand.
you know what you
How
do? You point it out.
how
You
many?
point it out to people. You people in our community, and people in our community will talk and talk and talk and talk, and maybe one person will say, you know what? Hey, that is ridiculous. And if that's ridiculous, what else is ridiculous?
Also, I guess how many people showed up for this prayer? By the way, do you know?
100 farmers.
100 farmers. I mean, when it comes to the farmer population, that's a pretty high ratio over there among all the farm. Yeah. So I guess the point of these stories is to show, because a lot of people think like we're living in a post-Christian world, and everything is fine and dandy now. And I guess we need to keep highlighting these stories to show them like no, no,
Right.
like we're not there, we're not even close, right? So I guess that's the point of showing these stories, so people know that, a lot of people think like, oh, religion is not the problem, this is the problem, that is the problem. Yeah, those things are the problem, but no, religion is it's a huge problem. I mean, it's still a huge problem even in the most secular countries in the world. Religion is still a major problem. So I guess that's the main point of highlighting these stories, right?
Yep.
Chris is saying somebody should get a megaphone and say, scrap your abortion laws and I'll make it rain. Sopam is saying they can try what the Hindus did, marry two frogs to each other so the monsoon comes sooner. Spoiler, monsoon is almost here. What, they married two frogs with each other? They did? Is that real? Another godless atheist saying, what you do is put Trump's wall around Alabama. I mean, we don't want to give up on Alabama. There's a lot of atheists there that we need to, I mean, these people themselves, they're the victims, right? Like, I feel bad for them. These people are like, having false hope is a huge cost. Investing, spending resources, time, and energy, and putting hope in things that is not going to help you takes resources and from other places, and also gives you false hope. False hope is dangerous. Paul is saying, why gather when they can just send their thoughts and prayers? Yeah, actually, how does that work? Like, God does, if they all at their home and they just decide to pray at the same time, why does it have to be at the same time, and why do they have to be in the same place? Like, God, I don't know how this works, and none of this is in the Bible. Like, if you read the Bible doesn't say like, oh, pray to God, but make sure you arrange a time and a place for all of you to be at the same time. Like, and this is all just you make up as you go, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. But that's a good question, Paul. Travis saying, silly farmers. Everyone knows you have to sacrifice a goat to bring spring rains. I mean, according to last week's news, you have to sacrifice your own nephew.
Yeah.
Jordan is saying the next time it rains, they'll take credit for it. Whether it's 6 hours or 6 months from now, they'll say, see the power of prayer. Yeah, actually, that's very true. In fact, the thing, this is what they say. If you pray to a jug of, like, take the jug of milk and start praying to it for some results, and there's 3 possible things. Either it happens now, or it happens later, or it doesn't happen. And you could say, like, if you pray to a jug of milk and it happens, see, like, you can say, like, well, look, the jug of milk answered my prayers. Or you could say the jug of milk said the answer is, like, not now, you have to wait. Or you could say the jug of milk said, I heard my prayer, but the jug of milk knows best for me. So the jug of milk said no to my request, but that's only because the jug of milk knows better than what is the best thing for me. So you covered all possible scenarios. So there's no way your prayer could fail because you have an explanation for every single result. AMR saying human sacrifice always helps. Catherine saying if you want rain, it's best to pray to the rain god. Yeah, you're praying to the wrong god. Yahweh is a war god. Actually, no, he got merged with the rain god, so he is a rain god. So Yahweh is a mix of a war god and a rain god, so he's good. He's partly rain god. Um, did you want to? Oh, hold on. So I'm saying, I guess they are Zords combining together to form a Megazord for mega thoughts and mega prayers. Was it? Yeah. Is that a X-Men reference? I don't know, my. All right. Should we go to the next news?
Next news I'm super excited about because it's an update to some news that we've spoken about before. New York ends religious exemptions for required vaccines. The New York governor signed a bill ending vaccination exemptions based on religious beliefs. The latest attempt to address the growing measles outbreak in the worst the U.S. has experienced in decades. Cuomo said plugging the loophole should help contain the spike on measles cases in New York, the state hardest hit by the uptick in the contagious virus due to the low vaccination rates in ultra-Orthodox communities. The science is crystal clear. Vaccines are safe, effective, and the best way to keep our children safe, he said right after signing the bill.
Yay! So wait,
Yay!
Is this related to the same news that we had last week with regards to the Orthodox Jewish
Yes,
school?
because remember, it was New York saying, but our law allows for religious exemptions to vaccines.
Right. Wait, so this is Orthodox Jewish school made this happen?
Well, I don't know if they made it happen. This was something that's been in the works for a lot
Okay.
of different states lately.
Okay, great. So
Yes.
now you can't use religion as an excuse not to vaccinate.
Not in the state of New York.
Oh my, there's going to be so many angry Orthodox Jewish parents in New York. You know how big of a deal this is? You know how many of them?
This
You
is huge.
This is huge. Like I've been to the Orthodox Jewish, areas of New York, right? I actually filmed that area. I interviewed people. I never released it because I never got the time to edit it. But that's it. Like that part of New York is its own area. Like it's a separate territory, and they have their own like security and semi police and their own school. It's like you go from the rest of New York to the Orthodox Jewish part. It's like going back in time, right? Like it's so, and they are very sensitive about anybody from outside coming and telling them how to live. They have their own lawyers. They have their own everything, right? And this is a major invasion of their own territory right now. Like you're gonna have are we gonna have government agents going into these schools and for making sure that the kids are vaccinated? Because this, I don't know how, if people understand how protective these people are about anything coming into their schools. Like I couldn't believe it. Like if you go to the schools in the Orthodox Jewish part of New York, you can see, first of all, there are some books that are banned, like science books are like, no, like, and even in their own books, like the women, are completely blacked out in kids books and everything else. Like when I was in Iran, because foreign books, when the religious ads and stuff, at least only the legs and the hair was blacked out. I saw books that the entire woman was blacked out in the Orthodox. I was like, is this the United States? Like I felt like I was in an Islamic country based on the way they were treating their woman and the kid. It was unbelievable. But this is something they are extremely sensitive about, and I don't know and I don't know what's going to happen. Do you think there might be a law that they're not really going to enforce? Like, what's going to happen? Like,
Oh no, they're going to have to enforce it, and who's going to be enforcing it are the schools. So, just like in my state where I am, I have to provide proof from a doctor that my child is up to date and current with all vaccines. If my child isn't, a doctor might say this is the vaccine the child needs. Once they do that, the school will then also let you know, hey, your child's next vaccine booster is due. We're going to need a signed document from your kid's doctor saying they got this vaccine. So the school handles that where I am. I don't know if they're going to do that in the state of New York, but if they don't do that, if they do not comply, then they risk losing funding and everything else. So that's not something they're going to want to mess around with.
Okay, something tells me we're gonna hear a lot more. Like they're not gonna just take this. This is gonna be a huge thing. Something
Well,
tells
and
me.
another godless atheist is pointing out that this is not just the Orthodox Jews, but the Christian anti-vaxxers as well. Been a huge spike in different sects, especially the Christians who believe that no medical intervention is needed. Jesus is all you need, right?
Right.
Uh, they're going to have a very hard time with this because they won't even take their child to a doctor if their child is dying.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, it's true, but there's some specific groups that are even more sensitive than average, right? So one is the Orthodox Jewish people, but also what about the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
they're extremely sensitive as well. So this is about this. I haven't seen any Muslim communities being upset, being resisting vaccines. Not in United
Not
States.
particularly. I haven't either.
I have seen it in other countries, but not in United States. So in United States, so far it's mostly some Christian groups and Orthodox
Well,
Jewish.
that or they're living in the comfort over these religious exemption laws, and there's no need for them to protest anything.
Right.
Um,
I
so that
just
could be the case as well.
based on what I've seen, I just think that the Orthodox Jewish community is going to resist it more than anyone else. Like because they're not just sensitive about vaccines. If you just send a government agent there from outside to check in their schools, you already have crossed the line. Like crossing the skin is just a whole different territory, right? Just visiting them, trying to decide what they study in school, that's already like a huge red flag. So that's I don't know, but that's why I think that I'm waiting to see what the react. I'm just really interested to see what the reaction is going to be to this. Like
Yeah,
when they actually start enforcing this, right?
definitely.
Um, Christy is saying Jesus is all you need. Yeah. Jesus is a disease himself that needs a vaccine. We need to come up with a vaccine for Jesus. All right, so that was our last news, which ended up on a high note, which is good. Good news. But anyway, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody in the live chat. John, Mir Jalal, Christopher, Joanne, Maria. Thank God I'm an atheist. That's the username, by the way. Jack. Oh, Jack. Hey, Jack. Oh yeah, you were here. I read some of your comments. Why am I acting so surprised? Chris, GV, Subham, another Godless, Old Scratch. Who else? Who else? Christy Beach. Everybody's. Sorry, if I didn't read your news, your comment. I'm tired now. I have to go. Christy saying, "I love you guys. I love you back." Um, Nathan and Carlos. Anyways, I'm losing my mind, so I better go now. GV saying bye everyone. Oh, B just saying thank you, Ali and Armin. Love you
Thank
guys.
you all.
Thank you for commenting, guys. Really, this live stream would not be as interesting without your comments, especially when we make a mistake. You guys are correct us. If we made another mistake, and you guys didn't notice it, and you notice it later, leave a comment.
Please do. That
Yeah,
really helps us.
that helps us. Yes. And again, we're just reviewing the news with you guys. Sometimes we make mistakes, and you guys point it out to us. And our audience is so international, which makes the experience a lot better because we usually have somebody somewhere that knows a little bit more about these things, a lot more about these things than we do. Chris is saying, keep up the fantabulous work. That's a new word. Okay. Subhum Biswas. Oh, Logic Vaccine. Happy time for Amin and Ali. Good night, everybody. Okay, love you guys.
Bye,
And
guys.
bye.